Hello, once again, Kenny Jacobs from Bloomington, Illinois. I promise I am going to make this video quick today. Just want to go over a quick couple of news items pertaining to Bible prophecy. First one, Israel has announced that they're closing down all of their embassies around the world. It's the first time in their history they've ever done that. And again, I'm going to post all the articles I'm referring to today into the description box of this video so you can check them out yourself. But the reason they're giving is it's due to a strike, that workers are going on strike because of salaries and working conditions. But I'm not so sure I really buy that. Seeing as how it's now come out that Israel has budgeted $3 billion for an attack on Iran. And now they're closing down their embassies all around the world. So I think we need to keep a real close eye on that. I think Benjamin Netanyahu has kind of finally had it and is accepting the fact that Iran has crossed his red line, and it may be time to do something about that. So there could be some coming war with Israel and Iran. Along the same lines, yesterday, Turkey shot down a Syrian jet that Turkey claims was in their airspace, and Syria says it wasn't, that it was in their airspace. But now Turkey's getting more aggressive, and they're starting to jump into the fray a little bit. So the situation in Syria is certainly not looking any better. And remember Isaiah 17:1, the burden of Damascus. Behold, Damascus is going to be taken away from being a city, and it will be a ruinous heap. And now the situation in Syria might be escalating to include Turkey. This Wednesday, President Obama will be at the Vatican talking to Pope Francis. I'm sure that one of the items on the agenda will be the peace agreement that they've been trying to agree upon between the Palestinians and Israel. And last week, President Obama met with Mahmoud Abbas, the leader of the Palestinians, at the White House. And Abbas said that he would be willing to support extending the negotiations past the 9-month period, but only on a few conditions. One, that Israel would quit, or that they would continue to release prisoners. That they're supposedly, they've released three sets of prisoners. They were supposed to release one more set, and Israel has not done that. That's one of their main conditions. Another condition has to do with some Israeli settlements in the Gaza Strip. That's an issue. But one of my biggest questions is, what are the Palestinians bringing to the table? What are they giving up? Why is it always going back to Israel has to do this, Israel has to do that, Israel has to give up this? And the Palestinians just, while they keep lobbing rockets into Israel, which is kind of funny because another article here I'm going to post, it says, Palestinian official, no peace while Israel mistreats Arab citizens. What? Again, Palestinians act like they want peace, but then they really don't. As I said, they keep shooting rockets into Israel. They admittedly don't want Israel to exist. And they won't recognize Israel as a Jewish state. That's the main concern that Benjamin Netanyahu wants. That if we're going to go with this peace agreement and give up some of our land, you need to recognize our right to exist and to be a Jewish state, which the boss and the Palestinians still refuse to do. So this situation is just getting more and more strange, and I'm sure that that's going to be on the agenda of Pope Francis and Obama. But the other main agenda that they're planning on discussing is income inequality. I've been talking a little bit about that on some of my past videos. Pope Francis has been talking about that. since he became Pope. And this year, that's a big issue for President Obama. With all that's going on around the world, and with Middle East, the conflict in the Middle East, and now the situation with Russia and the Ukraine, and in America, for that matter, in America, there's a poll out that shows that most Americans aren't really concerned about the problem of income inequality. Why is the leader of the Christian world, and supposedly the most powerful man in the world, Obama, worried about income equality right now? Well, I would have to say that a lot of that's because here's what's going to happen eventually. The Antichrist is going to sign a peace agreement. The final 7-year period of time is going to start. 3.5 years into that time period, the Antichrist and the false prophet will force the mark of the beast on the entire population if you don't worship the Antichrist. You won't be able to buy or sell without that mark. And what we're seeing right now is we're seeing the groundwork, the final bits of groundwork coming into place for the one world government to take over and the eventual implementation of the mark. And then they will have income inequality. What they're going to have is they're going to have the global elites and then everybody else. And everybody else is going to have the mark. And the people who choose not to have the mark won't be able to buy or sell, and they're going to be fleeing for their lives. That's when we're going to have the true income inequality in this world. Things are happening at a really, really fast pace. Yesterday, around the world, 180 earthquakes. I track these every single day. A month or so ago, we were having 40, 50, 60 a day. 180 yesterday. They're going up in numbers on a daily basis. Now, most of those obviously were in the 2.5, 3.0 range. But quite a few of them were 4 or higher, and there's some that were 5 or higher, and some that were 6 that are higher every single day. 180 in one day. I just want to say one other thing, and that is, again, every single day, I get into discussions about Bible prophecy with somebody, and quite frankly, a lot of times it's somebody in the church. And they all want to say the same thing. No one knows the day or the hour. Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. Nobody knows the day or the hour. But guys, so much of the Bible is prophecy, and that prophecy was given to us for a reason, so we could watch and be aware of the signs of the times and know that the day is close. Do we know the day or the hour? Absolutely not, and anybody that tells you they do, they're wrong, they're lying. However, we have these prophetic signs given to us so that we won't be caught unawares and so that we can be ready. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 says, "But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. You are all the children of the light and the children of the day. We are not of the day, nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep, as do others, but let us watch and be sober." We are told repeatedly throughout the Bible we need to watch the events, watch the signs of the times, watch for the prophetic events. And we're seeing them occur again every single day, all around the world. And they're increasing in number and intensity, just like labor pains. As a woman is going into labor, and that's exactly how the Bible put it. No one wants to believe that we can possibly be the last generation. Why is that so hard to understand, that we are the last generation? Why does it seem like an impossible thing? Somebody has to be the last generation. Now, a lot of people think that when Jesus talked about the parable of the fig tree in Matthew chapter 24, that he was referring to Israel. I, for one, do believe that. I've seen certain studies and certain people would disagree with that, but I do believe that Israel is represented by the fig tree. And Israel became a nation in 1948. When the fig tree started to bloom, Jesus said, when you see all these things begin to take place, this generation will not pass till all these things take place. And we are certainly seeing all the end days, last days players getting into position and all the events coming together. The other thing is in 2 Thessalonians, it talks about how the day of the Lord will not come until there comes a falling away first. And that's apparent that has happened. I mean, when most of the people who go to church and call themselves Christian, when their lives look nothing different than the lives of people not in the church who don't claim to be Christian, then there's probably been a falling away in the church. The other thing is, there's just so much stuff accepted within the church now that never would have been before. This fluffy puffy, politically correct, everything goes, accept everybody for who they are. Gospel is not the gospel. There's no talk of repentance. There's no condemnation of sin. There's no call to be holy. And that is simply a sign of another sign, and the main sign that we are in the last days when you look at the state of the church as well as society in general. And on a side note here, just kind of an odd story that I saw in the news this morning, or late yesterday, and that is that Germany intercepted a shipment of cocaine. And the cocaine was actually liquid form cocaine. It was actually inside of condoms. And the destination was the Vatican. Cocaine being shipped to the Vatican. That's kind of an interesting story. Don't know how much more we'll get from the news on that one, but I don't know. Just another odd story of the times we're living in. Till next time, keep looking up. All the signs are here. Return of Jesus is right at the door.